In Luke chapter 12, a huge crowd shows up to listen to Jesus, and Jesus begins to tell his disciples to watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. He says that every secret and hidden thing will one day be revealed, and what has been whispered will be proclaimed from the rooftops. Jesus also says to not be afraid of those who can kill the body, but instead to fear the God who can destroy both body and soul in Hades. He adds that God even cares about worthless sparrows, so we shouldn't be afraid because we're worth a lot more than sparrows to God. He's even counted the number of hairs we have on our heads. An audience member tries to enlist Jesus' help in a family financial dispute. Jesus is like, "Who made me a judge?" He adds, "Watch out for greed. Your life is more than the stuff you own." He then tells the parable of the rich fool. A rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, "What should I do? I don't have room for all my crops." Then he said, "I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, 'My friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for?'" Jesus adds that anyone is a fool who has earthly riches but is not rich towards God. He then gives teachings on not worrying about life. Jesus also tells his disciples that believers must keep watch and be prepared for the coming of the Lord. He compares them to servants waiting for their master to return from a wedding feast. They have no idea if he will come in the middle of the night or just before dawn, but they must be ready for him when he comes home. He also compares them to a homeowner who has no idea when a burglar might break into his home, but who must be prepared nonetheless. Peter wants to know if this teaching is for them as leaders or for all believers. Jesus says that it will not go well for the servant left in charge who is discovered to be a drunk and beating his fellow servants upon his master's return. Jesus says that those who don't know any better won't be punished as severely, but to those who have been given much, much is expected. Jesus says that many of his teachings will bring about division instead of the peace they were intended to bring because of people's stubbornness. And Jesus accuses the people of being more interested in interpreting the weather than in interpreting the times. He compares them to people being dragged into court who don't have the sense to reason or barter with the accuser along the way. That kind of person ends up serving a full sentence and paying every fine.